I'm now going to show you how to do some functions. Functions are built-in formulas in Excel. So when you want to do a function, hit equals. That tells you you're going to get a function or a calculation. I'll show you the calculation later. Excel calls the mean the average. So I type in average, and you notice as I start to type, a bunch of words come up. I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to cycle through these, or I can click on them, and then it finishes for me. Or you can just hit tab. I want the average of all these numbers. So I left click and I highlight the numbers, and then I close parentheses and it finds the average of those. And then equals the median. I type median, I hit tab, and it finishes it for me. And again, I highlight all those and it finds me the median. Then the mode equals MODE. That's easy enough to type in, and I highlight that, and it gives me the mode. The minimum equals, I just type in min does it. You have to know the commands. Open parentheses, and then I highlight it and I close it. Now the percentile has two functions. Equals, I type in percentile, and I go to percentile.exe because that's the one I want to use. I have to do a data set, and let's say I want to find a 25th percentile. I write it as a decimal, so 25th percentile is 0.25, and find the 25th percentile of that, which is 40. The 50th percentile is also the median, so I can spell it wrong. So if you don't spell it right, it's not going to work. And then you just find like this. There's another way to find the commands. I hit the sum symbol. It's a Greek letter sigma. I go to statistical because I want percentile rank with statistical. They have all the ones here. I go to percentile percentile.exe, and it puts it in. I highlight what I want to do. Now I hit comma, 0.75 for 75th percentile, and it finds it. Let me see if I can find max on there. So I go to the symbol, I go to statistical, do it quick, and you go max, M, there's max. Yeah, I'll move it quickly, it doesn't come up. And then max is going to highlight that. I don't need a second input, and I get that. Some more measure center. So just so you know, this is cell D2 through cell D10. So standard deviation equals standard deviation. So I type in capital D2 colon D10. I can do it manually. And then it gives me that standard deviation. I can also do variance. Variance A. And then I go D2 colon D10, and it finds it like that. So you can find it like that too. Let me now show you how to delete. Let's say I don't need this anymore. If you go here and right click and hit delete columns A and B, it just gets rid of it. It was repeated, so we didn't need it. You can also delete rows. Let's say you don't want a row. You right click on it and delete the rows you want. That's how you delete rows. Now I'm going to do some arithmetic. Sum the five numbers somewhere and divide by the mean. I hit equals, and that's going to do I'm using it as a calculator, arithmetic calculator. So I hit the five number summary, this, plus this, plus this. And I'm hitting the plus symbol on the keyboard. It's next to the backspace. Above the equal sign, shift equals. Right? Now, I want, that's a sum, so I'm going to use PEMDAS, like in algebra, and put the parentheses in front of it. So that's added up. Then divide it. The divide symbol is a slash. It's under the question mark next to the shift key. Divide by the mean. I click on the mean, and then it does it for me. Difference of products, measure of center, and five number summary equals the products of the measure of center. So I hit parentheses. Here's the measure of center. The star key, it's above the 8. Shift 8 is star. And on desktop, it's also on the keyboard. I hit star, and I multiply, close parentheses, minus 5 number summary. Open parentheses, so it's separate. Star, 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 star. And then I close parentheses. Give me a negative number, that's okay. And we do squares too. Sum of squares, measure of center. So I'm going to do equals this. I hit the caret, it's above the 6 key, square, it follows PEMDAS, so I don't need parentheses, plus this, squared, plus this one squared. Let's say I wanted to add 100. I can add numbers, I can type in numbers, and I add 100, because you can type in numbers directly, and you get that. Square root of max minus min equals SQRT is square root. I open parentheses, max minus min. I take the max, and I minus the min. And I'll find the square root of that. Now I'll show you a cool trick. Let's go back to here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see it. You go view, and you go zoom, 125%. Let's say I want to add up all the copies sold. If I highlight that and leave that there and hit the sum key and math sum, on Excel there's a key that does it directly. But here if I just go to sum, does it right there, equals, and it sums it. And there's my sum, 418. Again, on Excel it's a little easier than the sum key, but I summed it, it put it actually below it. So if I wanted to go in cell B11, I should only highlight up to B10, and then it puts the sum there. And you can do that with any of the functions, the highlighted cells, and it puts the sum. Let me now show you how to lock things. We use this a lot in QMB 3600. I'm going to make a calculation. I want to do this one plus this one, parentheses, but I want to multiply it by this. But here's the thing. I'm going to drag this calculation down for green, red, and blue, but I want all of them multiplied by the same constant. So I use the lock. If you have a desktop with a full keyboard, just hit the F4 key. If you have a laptop with a small keyboard, you have to hit the FN key. It's in the lower left of your keyboard with F4. If you have an Apple computer such as a MacBook, you have to hit Command plus T. So hit my key and dollar signs come up. If you have trouble with the button, you can always type in the dollar signs manually. It's a lot slower, but it does work in a pinch. Now, if there's $2, that cell is locked both going left and right and up and down. Watch this. When I drag I want to repeat this calculation for the blue line. So I click on the lower right-hand box and I drag it down. And it repeats it, but look. See, it does it for that row, but it's always doing it with the constant. That didn't get dragged down. I can also, if you can't see the thing, if you hit right-click and hit copy, and then click and hit paste, it copies the calculation. And look what happens if I didn't lock it. I'll show you what happens when you do it wrong. Don't lock it, and now when you drag it, see, it's multiplying by a blank cell because it's dragged down. That's what happens when you don't lock it. Now when you lock it, if you hit F4, it locks it left and right. If you hit F4 again, now it's just locked with row 6. So now it won't move up and down, but it will move left and right. If you hit F4 again, now it's just locked for column H. So now it won't move right or left, but it will move up and down. Hit F4 again, it's not locked, and then F4 again cycles, now it's locked both ways. Thank you for watching this video.